And this will be available, there we go, I'm recording, and this will be available to all of you and to whomever wants it after the session today. So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining. This is my first time leading a training session, so I will confess I'm a little nervous, so go easy on me. But I really wanted this to be a fun, collaborative time where we can all just sort of, work together on learning this thing rather than me just talking at you. First, before I get into that, I want to thank Karen Salvini, Brooklyn Gore, and Michelle Pixa. These are my panelists, if you will, for today. They're going to help me. You know what? It just occurred to me. I had thought this before. Good. You guys are co-hosts. Great. So they're going to help me manage Zoom. They're going to help me manage the chat. And really just, if you're not speaking, try to keep yourself muted. But if you do want to say something or stop me, I don't want to keep this you have to mute yourself and raise your hand and stuff like that. No. We're here to have fun and talk to each other. Anyway, so also special thanks to Karen. Let me go ahead and share my screen so you can see what I'm about to thank her for. Go away. Can everybody see that screen okay? Yes, perfect. So, yep. So this document is what we will all be looking at today. I'll share it with all of you after the session. Karen built this, or rather put this template together, and really I'm just copying what she did for Lab Tech 2 years ago. So this is what we're doing today. I want to say this is going to be more geared towards those who are new users for Google Sites. You've never really seen it before. We're going to build a Google site together, but that doesn't preclude those of you who have experience. Actually, I would really love for you to hang out because you may know things that I don't. In fact, I'm sure you will. And I would love to hear from you as we go along if I forget something or if there's a better way to do something. And we'll have time at the end for tips and tricks for those that we didn't get around to during this session. So
hey, Andrea.
Yeah.
Can I just suggest to make your screen maybe a little bigger? People might be on laptops and stuff and might be. So like controller command, yeah.
I'll go ahead and make is that better? Is that more readable?
Something bigger. Because the other thing you can do is, well, you're going to need it.
Yeah, I know. I just that gets all wonky for me. So yeah, I'll do that, you guys. If you can't really see what I'm doing, just let me know. We can mess around with the screen settings as we go along here. So let's get into it. And again, if you need me to stop, if you need to say something, I can't really see the chat because I'm hiding that bar. So feel free to engage Karen, Michelle, and Brooklyn for that. But also feel free to unmute yourselves if you would like me to go over something or what have you. So let's get going. Google Sites. I love Google Sites. Why do I use it? Well, it's because it's a really easy way to get a website up quickly, efficiently. It can be used for all kinds of applications. I've used it for a million things. I actually have a side business with my husband right now while he's out of work, and we use it for our side business. Like, it does everything we need it to do for that. And for work, I've used it for conferences, events, projects, a way of storing like documents of a certain kind that I want to keep in one place and have like nice and pretty. It's just, it's really as much as your imagination will allow you is what it can be used for. As you can see here, really easy, user-friendly, responsive design, so that, it's already formatting for your mobile devices, for tablets. That's not something you have to format, with coding and anything. So, and then finally, the easy integration with Google Apps. I especially love it for that reason because I am totally a Google apostle. I believe in it. So what we're going to do today is we're actually going to create a site together. I hope this is fun. I went through this a couple nights ago and did a really silly site that we're going to reproduce together. So we're just going to start right off in making a site. So there are a few different ways that you can go ahead and start making a site from your once you're in your lbl.gov or wherever, and once you're in your Google Drive. You can go to sites.google.com, and this I can even just show you. Let's just do every one. So you see that this pulls up. You guys can still see my screen, okay, right? Sorry, I'm just making sure. I can't actually see you, so feel free to unmute yourselves. You can. Okay, good. I'm hiding the video because otherwise I just watch my own face. It's like really weird and perverse. So okay, so this is actually the old Google Sites we're looking at right now. We're not going to get into that because it's old, but you can see I even have a few old Google Sites there. We're interested in the new Google Sites. So you go. Open that up. You can see here all of the Google Sites I've created in the past for a lot of different applications. This is what we're going to create together. We're going to be really fun and silly about this. So that's one way to do it. You can also go into, this is kind of what I would prefer to do myself, where you can go into the folder where you have created your site content. So you can see here, the site we're making today is going to be called Dogs Are Heckin' Great. We're getting really serious about this. You can see here, I already have a folder in my drive. It's in my personal space, so I don't mix it up with work. It's in with personal professional development because I consider this time professional development for me. And it's in a, finally, it's in a folder called Google Sites Training Session for today. So I've created this folder. If I open it up, you can see that I already have all the content that I want to use for today's session in this folder. I really think this is the best way to do it. You could either go from new here, go down to more, go to Google Sites and click that as a way of starting this site within your folder so you know exactly where it is. Or you could even just right click, go down to more, same thing, Google Sites. All right, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna go ahead, and I have made this content public, but I'll show you what it looks like to share with specific people. All right, so let us go ahead and make a site. So the first thing I like to do is just name it so I know what the heck I'm talking about. So we're gonna call our site Dogs Are Heckin' Great. I just copy and paste into here, enter the site name, Dogs Are Heckin' Great. The second thing I like to do is go ahead and choose a theme. So here you have over here on the right, your insert, your pages, and your themes. These are your tools for building your site. You can choose really sophisticated or really basic themes. And I encourage you guys to build some sites after this just for the hell of it and mess around with these options. I really like Impression. I think it's really nice and sleek looking. I already know that I have a color palette for this, so I'm going to choose a color palette. Let me scroll up a little bit. Cool. I want it to be kind of orangish. So that's my color palette. And you could see this color right here changed when I did that. I could choose different fonts. The fonts are rather limited, right? So they're specific to the template, the theme template you're using. I like narrow. I think that looks good. So that is going to be my home page. So this is my theme. So
Andrea,
yeah.
Andrea, let me just interject that, you know, you're not wedded to this. You can change your theme at any time and it'll redo your content.
Exactly. Great point. Thank you, Karen. That's exactly right. You know, if you are in a theme and you think it sucks after a while, you're definitely free to change that up. So I like to get the thematic elements up first before I start doing any text boxes or images or embedding. That's just my style. Certainly that's not how you have to do this. It's not prescriptive. Over here, you can change the layouts for your site. So you see how this is adding different boxes that I can add different elements to. And if I hate all of that, I can just go over here to the side here with these icons and delete these sections that I've just added. So the second thing I'm going to do, I think it's really fun to have site logos. So I'm going to add a logo to this. If you're doing like a work site, probably the logo that you want is the Berkeley Lab logo, right, that you can download from Creative Services. We're not doing Berkeley Lab work here. I don't think anyone at the lab cares about my dogs are hecking great site. So we're going to use a logo that I pre-selected. And sorry, that was a little fast. So you can go either from uploading from your desktop, or I already have the content, remember, in that folder that contains all of my content. So I'm going to select from that folder by selecting Google Drive. This is a little onerous, I will not lie, right? You can see all this stuff that comes up here. But because
you can also search in the upper,
yes,
like if you have a very specific name.
Exactly. So if you know what you're looking for, great point. Like, you know, I know it's called paw print, so I can look there. I also, if you've recently put this stuff together, you can go into recent, which is really nice because I know that I've recently uploaded that, so it's already there. So I'm going to do the recent route then. This is the one I want, so I'm going to insert that. And you can see, get out of there, that I have a cute little paw print up here. So the background, it kind of sucks, right? It's boring. So I'm going to change the image for the background. And there are options that that come up for you when you do that. So Google has a gallery of backgrounds that they've already put together. You can just use from that gallery. I've certainly done that before. But I think those are all boring as hell. So I'm actually, one fun thing is that you have the whole internet at your fingertips here, right, for images. So if you know the URL, you can just copy and paste it right in there and it'll pull it up. I want to search, so I'm going to put great dogs. And right here, this is really fun. So this is actually a color sort of palette. So, you know, my palette's kind of orangey. So if I wanted pictures that are sort of like orangish, or if I wanted pictures that were sort of reddish, you see how it's picking through different photos that kind of have that palette? I think that's really neat, a really neat feature. So because my palette's kind of orangey, I'm going to pick this sweet Rhodesian Ridgeback. You guys, I'm serious about dogs if you haven't figured it out yet. So cool. And so you saw when I picked that out, it automatically adjusted for readability. So this just means that like whatever is actually going to look best, like this is without the readability. You see it's kind of stark and kind of hard on the eyes. So if I adjust it for readability, it's going to make this a little bit easier to look at. And with respect to, well, never mind, I'll get into that later. So great, we have an image we love. We're gonna title this, I don't know, our homepage, I guess. Dogs are the best. Okay.
Excuse me, Andrea, I have
yeah, Ellen, go for it. Mm-hmm.
On the dog image, can you bring it down? Do you have the option so we actually see his face, or do
there, not really. That's a great question. There are some things you can do, and that thank you for bringing that up, Ellen. Really good question. So if you go over to header type, maybe you want the whole damn picture, right? You have these 4 different options here, and choosing between them will change the size of the image that you've chosen. So if I wanted this to be my cover, I can do that, and now you see the full image, and it still gives you the real estate that you want at the bottom as much as you need. You could do a large banner, which is what we had done, a smaller banner, and then title only. I tend to do title only for sub pages, which we'll get into, but to Ellen's point, let's go ahead and do this as our cover so you can see the whole sweet good boy right there. Any other questions before I keep going?
Yeah, your option would be to download the picture and then crop it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, good point, Karen. So like, you know, I made an image for one of my conferences, and I actually downloaded, cropped it. You know, that's a little more than I want to get into today with respect to like a beginner sort of thing. But if you want more than what these features will allow you, you can do that by actually working with the image itself. Cool. So
Andrea, did you mention the issues around copyright too?
I did not. Do you want to talk more about that, Laura?
Well, you just need to be careful. You know, images that you find online, somebody took that photo, and a lot of them are copyrighted. So there was a little notice when she picked that image that Google's kind of sorted ones that are usable, but there's caveats. So especially if you're doing a page for, you know, other than personal reasons, make certain that you're not violating copyright.
Absolutely. Yeah, great point. Thank you. And that's why if you're doing like work specific sites, it's good to just use that content that you have developed within your working group or that the lab has authorized, just to sort of save yourself any headache from that. This site I'm going to probably delete afterwards, so I'm not really worried about copyright right now, but it's still an excellent point. So let's go ahead and get into start creating the content itself. So here in the insert, you have all of these options for different items that you can embed into your Google site. And we'll do a few. We're not going to do all of them, but just to give you a sense of how deep you can get. And if you look on our training sheet here, I tried to kind of call these out in the sheet so that you know what's available to you. Here in the integrations and permissions. So stuff like this is the Google's products themselves. But if you have questions on that as we go along, certainly we can address them. So what do we want to do? This is when I really want to open the floor to you guys and let me know what kind of content you think this should have. I have ideas. I already have some content ready. But for those dog lovers out there, what do you want to see on our Dogs Are Heckin' Great Google site? Any takers?
Agility. They're athletic.
Yeah, great. Let's go. Let's run with that, Michelle. Thank you. So this is my homepage, right? This is just like, this is just my landing page where folks can figure out what the heck I'm talking about when I'm talking about Dogs Are Heckin' Great. So maybe I actually, before we go into the agility, maybe I actually just want to do the service of actually naming like why we're here. So I'm going to delete this and show you an embed feature. So I have a treatise that I wrote up. I just copied and pasted it from a website. So if I wanted to insert that treatise, how would I do that? So it's via Google Doc. So check this out. I think it's really fun. And again, this can get a little onerous. You see here is a grid and then a list view of the different stuff. It's coming up with all my actual work stuff. And Karen, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think that there's any way. I mean, you could search it, right? But there's no way to really change the view of what comes up. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, you can search it and you have recent.
Right. So it's not coming up in my recent because I've done a lot of work from there, but I know that I called it a treatise. So I found it, and down at the bottom, the insert option comes up. So I'm going to insert it. So now you're starting to build your site and you may be wondering, how does this look to other people? So the way to check that out is up here you have all of those features that you can use as you're building your site. So if I hated what I just did, I can undo it very easily. I actually don't hate it, so I'm going to redo it. Here is where I'll show you how to
Andrea?
Yeah.
Another way, if you want to insert a doc and have a little more features, is if you scroll to the top of the insert and go from Drive to find it.
Yes, thank you. That's what I was actually thinking of doing. That's what I have on my notes. Yeah, so great. So Drive, this will give you the full Google Drive of what your options are, right? So I had gone to Docs because I knew it was a Google Doc, but maybe I forgot. You know, the same search function can be used. You can find it in your Drive that way. I know that it lives here. So it'll take me through all my folders, right? You see the folders that are in my personal folder. Then it'll take me in my personal professional development folder. It'll take me, so I'm glad you brought that up, Karen, because that's a good point to show that I already have my content here, right? It's already here. That document lives here, and here it is. We've already inserted it. We can do it again. So thank you, Karen, for keeping me on track with that. So those are the two ways. I hope that answers any questions on how to start inserting things. You know, this is also good for, you know, the different kind of content. You're not limited to just Google Docs or whatever. You know, maybe you want to insert sheets or slides or forms, and we'll do some of that together to show you what that looks like. So, so what I was starting to say, and I'm actually going to delete that section because I already have it, is that if you want to see what this looks like what it'll look like to people who just want to look at your site, go up to preview, this little icon here. And this is going to show you what it looks like for just folks who are looking at your site who don't have any edit access to it. And down here at the bottom, this is really fun. If you wanted to see what it looks like on these different formats, like I'm looking at it myself on a monitor, but maybe somebody's looking on a phone, and so you can see it's mobile responsive. Like, this is really cool to me. I mean, there are like municipal websites that are not mobile responsive, so I really love that this feature is automatic. You can see what it looks like on an iPhone. You can see what it looks like on a tablet, on a laptop screen, and then those are the view options you have. This is just for reporting a problem. And if you want to go back into your editing, you just exit out of that preview. All right. So let us go on. We've inserted our treatise about why dogs are heckin' great. Michelle mentioned a page on agility, right, Michelle? So this is a good good opportunity to show you what how to build those pages. So you could, I think you can actually, oops, sorry, I did not actually mean to do that. You could actually duplicate your home page if you wanted all those, like say you're doing something that you just more or less want to look the same. We could just duplicate that page and then call it whatever we want to call it, right? And then that page is just going to look exactly the same because you've duplicated it. I don't want to duplicate it, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this. I want to make a brand new page, and so I'm going to go down to this little button here and hit new page. What do we want to call it? I'm going to call it agility. Done. Cool. And so we're going to go into agility. We can change, sorry, not there. We can change the way that it looks if we wanted the header to be just like a title. I kind of like my sub pages or my pages to look like that. So they're different from the home page, which is like, you know, the side of sort of eye-catching portion. So, so agility, what kind of content do we want to live here? And just to let you know, if you're building out a site and you want some information to be visible to people immediately, but you have other pages or sub pages that you want to create and you need more time on, you don't have to do it all at once. So say I wanted this, the home page is ready to go. I want folks to see it. The agility page is not. What I'm going to do is click on these little ellipses, I guess, and say hide from navigation. This means that when people go to my site after I've published it, which we haven't done yet, this page will not come up for them, right? So I can still work on it without them having to look over my shoulder at my hot mess. So let's go on to agility. What kind of things do we want to know about maybe we want to insert a YouTube video. Let's do that. So let's insert a YouTube video. So all I did was click on that little YouTube icon. I'm going to search agile dogs and agility. I don't know. And it's really nice. Like I could have uploaded something. I don't have anything yet for that. So I'm just going to choose from YouTube. I've actually watched this because I'm obsessed. So I just inserted that YouTube video. Check it out. You can see that very good boy in his agility. Maybe I want to put some kind of text on this. Here I can insert a text box. And, you know, I just want to say, you know, check out the goodest boys. Aren't they super? And I can sort of move this around. I think I can move it so that it can sort of couple itself with the video. Maybe I'm crazy. I've done that before, I think. But anyway, that was a fun thing. I can also, if you see that I just double clicked and it'll give me text. So if I wanted to sort of add to this section, now I can add text, double click. Maybe I want to add an image. What are they? Border Collies. Sorry, you guys have to deal with my obsession today. It's just the way it goes. That's the price you pay for free training. So I've just added a super cute agile boy. Look at this agile boy. You know what? Maybe it's a girl. Okay. So that's just different ways you can mess around with the different things that you can embed. So let's create a new, you know what, actually, now I have something going, but I need my teammates to help me. I'm being cognizant of time. I realize I'm taking a lot of it, sorry. So let's go on to sharing.
So Andrea, before you move on, there was a question on the chat. I just want to make sure that everyone
let's talk about it. What's up?
Is aware. If you can go back to your pages for a sec, just before we get to share. And it was sort of, what's the difference between like you were asked, you go to create a page and it asks if you want it to be a main page or a sub page.
Great point. Yeah.
You have hidden currently the agility web page, but if you don't, you think you showed, maybe you showed up on the top right that, you know, it automatically shows up in the navigation. So
awesome. Yes.
Page.
I thank you for, I keep having these thoughts and then they slip my mind. Thank you, Karen. So if I'm going to show this in navigation again, right? And if I go to my navigation, and actually that's one thing I wanted to bring up, so I'm glad y'all asked. Your navigation, you can do a few different modes. So right now, I'm pointing at my screen like you can see it. So right now I have home and right there. So right now I have home and agility, right? My mouse is mousing over. I don't really like navigation at the top. I just don't think it's sexy enough. So I like to go and have side navigation. You can change the color that you want. So I just made it white. It's just transparent white or black or transparent. I'm going to make it white. Why not? And then search settings. This is a little bit more complex. I don't really want to get into that. Really just know for now that this is based on your searching the content you have in your Google site. Okay. So let's get out of that. And now if I click the sidebar here, you can see that this is my navigation. Here's my home page. Here's my agility page. And that can go as crazy as you want. So like if I wanted to add a sub page, the most agile doggos. This is now a sub page of the agility page. And when I go back over to my site, you can see that has come, or my navigation, you can see that that's come up in my, sorry, you can see that's come up in my navigation. So let me think. I think we spent, let's just add a little bit more to show you what that looks like. And then I want to show you some like actual serious sites I put together before. Let's go back to our homepage and I'll just show you a couple more things. The kind of stuff that you can insert, right? So going back over to inserting, I want to insert a form. So this is a great, you know, Google Forms, another session, but I love Google Forms for collecting information. I think it's better than Smartsheets. Don't at me, but it's just easier to use and it's more fun to create. So I created a form It's coming up in my recent, but again, I have it here in my content already. I won't stop talking about how important it is to have your content already. So I'm going to go ahead and select it. Oop. Insert it. And you can see my "Do you love dogs" form. Yes, of course I do. I don't, because I'm a terrible person. So important information I want to capture from people. And maybe I want to know, I want folks to see the outcome of this form, right? So if you know about Google Forms, it'll generate a Google Sheet that's just capturing the data that is being input into this form. So I have that ready. Let's go ahead and look. The one respondent thus far is me, and this is all a hot mess, so I'm gonna search for dogs responses, and here it is. Insert it. So you would want to make sure, in fact, I was going to get into sharing, so before I do the sharing with my panelists here, that you're okay with this data being live, right? And that you have shared it specifically so that folks, you've decided who can view it, who your audience is. So let's go over that now before we navigate some pages or sites that I've already built. So first,
Andrea, this is Marissa. I have a question.
Yeah, go for it, girl. Good to hear from you too.
Can you present the results as a graphic image?
You know,
Like
I'm gonna punt that.
chart?
I'm gonna punt that to Karen, because I know that you can do it. So let's just open up the. So oh wait, no.
I'm not sure if you can grab that. I know it's something when you're in form edit, you can review responses there. I haven't looked into whether or not you can make that view public to other people without actually making the form also like editing public, which I don't think you'd want to do. So I don't know if there's a way. I'm not saying there isn't, but I don't know how to do it.
Marissa, exactly what Karen said, my workaround for it. So now a mini forums lesson. So I'm in the form I created. Here are my responses. This is where I got that Google Sheets, the responses that I added to my site. You see that it's also showing my results. The 3 respondents, me, myself, and I, we all agreed that we love dogs, so it's 100%. So Marissa, my workaround to that is super janky. It would just be to do like a screen grab like that. And then, if you wanted to update, but as Karen mentioned, I don't think there's a way to do it where it is live, where you can see your data in charts and stuff like that. Okay.
Because it could be super useful if it was live, because then people, as they added to the survey, you could see it dynamically change.
I agree. I think that's a really good idea. And if you want to, Marissa, can you send me that question in email? Because I'd love to follow up on that. I don't think we have the time right now, but that would be great. I mean, people can see this. They can at least see your responses. So if there were a lot of different responses, that would have a lot of active data for folks to look at. But I don't know if there's a way to do it with the graphs and everything. But great idea. I love the idea. So yeah, send me that question, Marissa, and I'll follow up on it. All right, so let's go ahead and do sharing with others. So I'm going to share to my panelists. This is where you'll share folks that you want to work on your site with you, your teammates, right? Google Sites is great for building out team-based projects. So I'm going to share it with Michelle. It's already automatically populating the people with whom I work the most right now. So that's kind of a nice feature as well. And I'll share it with Brooklyn. I want to notify them. Check out my amazing site. Oh my God. And I can notify them. If I don't want to notify them, like I just want to give them edit access before I'm ready to tell them they have edit access, I can just unclick that bad boy and I'll send. And oh, my bad, really quick. Here is your settings wheel. It's not really going to tell you much. This is where you can make the changes. If I wanted Karen to be the owner of this, or if I just wanted her to see the published view, which we'll do right after this, or if I want to say, no, Karen, sorry, bye, I would remove her, but I won't do that because Karen's amazing. So that's where you would change the different permissions right there. All right. So this site is not live. Nobody can see it yet. So let us do a service to the world and publish it. So when I go to publish, this is the only way that it's going to get out there, right? I have some options. The first thing is, what do I want to call it? It's already got great names, so we're going to stay with Dogs Are Heckin' Great. Who do I want to view it? If you're making a lab-specific site that is only for lab folks to look at, keep it with the default, which is anyone at Berkeley Lab. However, maybe you're making a project review site and you have folks from Slack and, you know, Los Alamos coming to be reviewers, and you want them to see the information, then you'll want to manage this so that you can, so that those folks can see that. And the way, well, here, let me first publish it, and then I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm going to publish it, and now it's published. Cool. So now I know that it lives. If I want to see what the copy the published site link, I'll go here to this icon. This will show me what the site link is. If I like wanted to share it with somebody really quick, I just copy it and I can share that with them. And sorry, so the way that you can make sure who can see the site, Karen, help me out here. I think that is there a way to do it from right here? No, it's right here. Sorry, publish settings. That's right. So if I'm crazy, Karen, stop me before I hurt myself. But if you go up to the publish button, the publish drop down, publish settings. Oh, maybe not. Okay.
What do you? I'm not sure what quite you're.
Those I want people. I want you know, everyone and their mother to be able to see this.
Oh,
site.
so that would be so. Where you were before under managed, you couldn't do it from there.
No, and you know, I know that there is one way to do this from, and anyone on the call, if you know, you feel free to jump in as well. But so if I go here and I just right clicked, get shareable link. I know I can manage settings here, right? So this is what I was trying to get to. Sorry that I kind of stumbled into it, but this is the way that you can see who you want to view this and change those settings. So again, what I did is I found my site, I right-clicked on it, went to get shareable link, or actually I think you can do it with share as well. Nope, let's not do that. For some reason, that just wants to make life difficult. So let's go back.
That's changed recently, so I.
Yeah, it must have. I know Google does these little things, and I'm like, holy shit, Google.
I mean,
You
I guess
tell me. So just to finish what I was saying, so here is where I can change who can view it, right? So if I only want Berkeley Lab folks to view, I'm going to change that. If I only want my team to view it, then I'm going to change to restricted, and it literally will only be those folks that I shared the site with. But I want everybody to see my great site, so I'm going to make it public. So anybody can go and see that content. And while I'm on this train of thought, that reminds me that you want your site content, if you want it visible to everyone, another great reason to put it all in one folder before you do anything. It's kind of like creating an outline, right? This is an outline of my site. It's all the content I want in it. If you share this folder, if you change the permissions on the folder itself to whomever you want that audience to be, whether it be restrictive, just Berkeley Lab folks, or the whole wide world, which is anybody with a link, you can do that from the folder itself. And that will automatically make everything in this folder, whatever the permissions sharing settings that you change. That's, to me, the best way to do it. Otherwise, you would have to go through every single one and change the permission settings, and that just becomes really onerous really fast. So before I move on to the sites that I've built that are actually usable sites, does anyone have any questions about how we did this so far?
So we have a question about whether or not part of the site can be public and part can be restricted. And so far, that's been a limitation for new Google sites. I know the old Google sites had a way to kind of restrict certain hierarchies. My workaround is it. Apparently, Brooklyn says you can. So maybe Brooklyn, you should talk.
Yeah,
my workaround was to embed something, but and make that restricted. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, at least I've done it on using the old Google sites.
Then it doesn't apply. It doesn't apply, unfortunately. But so my workaround has been, if I want some content that is not visible, then I put it in a Google Doc that is limited. And so they can go to the page, but only people with the permissions to that Google Doc can actually view the content. So it's not, obviously the best solution, but if this is something you really need, there's an option.
Yeah, and Google's, I think, pretty good about responding to its customers when they agitate enough for a feature. So, I think that's something we should all agitate for, because it is something you sort of have a workaround. My workaround for that has been that, I'll upload, like Karen was saying, a Google Doc, and I'll make the permissions restricted to the audience that I only want to see. But again, that's kind of janky, so. But it is what it is. So let's go ahead and look at some Google sites that I have built for, I think Marissa will recognize this one. So this just gives you an idea. We're at 11:41, so I just want to run through these so that we can open up the floor. But this just gives you an idea of the kind of applications that Google Sites has. So I have all of my content for this site in my Google Drive. It's a bioepic reviews, it's my March IPR site content, it's all here. I've made sure that the permission settings are such that, anyone can view it, because we had external folks coming. And this, I thought was a really nice looking site. It has the project mock-up photo in the background. These are called buttons. I forgot to go over them just really quick. What a button is say I'm on this page here, my agility page, and I want folks to be able to answer my form, for example, just an example of what a button can do. So I'm going to insert a button right here. And there's so much I didn't go over, you guys, I'm sorry, but this just gives you a sense of what you can do. So I'm going to say, fill out my form. And right here, I can put a link. I could link it back to the home site if I wanted to, right? I'm going to actually insert the link to this. Oh, I already had open the link to this site, or to the form itself, excuse me. So if I send it, I can capture the link here just to show you what that looks like. Copy it. Sorry if this is a little fast. An hour goes by fast when you're talking the whole time. All right, so here's my little button, and if I go back into preview, this just says fill out my form. Folks will hit that and it gets them to this super scientific form. I hope that makes sense. But so that was what we were going with here, right? So these buttons are like really nice, clean. Yes, I have them already here on my navigation. But if you come to the home page, you can just hit, oh, I just want to see the agenda. Great, there it is. I've uploaded this as I uploaded it as a PDF. So you're not limited to Google products alone. This was an Adobe PDF. Really nice and clean. It has the scroll bar on the side here so that folks can easily see the agenda. If I go back to the home page, these buttons are all linking to different things. And you notice, so like I showed you with the button linking to that form link, these are just linking back to the side pages here. So they're linking to a page. So like the contacts, if I hit that button, it's linking me to that contacts button. And this is a Google document that I changed the sharing permissions on so that people can open up the Google document but they can't modify it because they just have view permissions. Actually, this was a PDF, I apologize, but that is something you could do.
Andrea, we had a question, since you're on embedded documents at the moment, that one of the listeners has had trouble with their embedded documents when they're viewing them on the published not being very clear and not, you know, sharp and easy to read. Is that something that anyone else has experienced, or what you can do about that? It's not something I'm familiar with, so I'm not quite sure what the issue might be.
You know, I have noticed that, whomever asked that question, I've noticed that with like images that maybe I screenshotted or something like that, they might be a little pixelated. You know, I think that when you're embedding images, you want to make sure they're a high quality, like PNG file or JPEG. If you're embedding documents, you shouldn't encounter that issue if you're embedding documents. Because, you know, it's pulling the quality of the document from like the PDF that you uploaded or that you created on your Google Drive. Do you want to whomever asked that question, do you want to clarify what specifically you had issues with?
Hi, this is Zeta McCunney from NERD.
Hi.
And good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I know many of you here, but
I do too. I'm stoked.
thank you for the training, by the way.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for coming.
But we have, for NERSC, we created a NERSC administrative website.
Okay.
And when I import PDFs or graphic, just that is not very sharp at all, and I'm still trying to figure that out with the team.
You know what, girl? I do not know. I don't think that it should. I mean, my gut response is to say that the quality shouldn't be affected. So I'm sorry, I can't answer you. I'm as stumped as you are. Let me know if you figure it out, please. I have not encountered that issue myself. You know, these sites that I've created are fairly clean. In fact, let's go over to this one as an example. This is, another feature I can tell you about. So up here, this is a banner, which is a really great feature. So and it's brand new too. So this banner I could put up when I was editing this recently to show you guys, to say, don't actually go here, go to the project management website instead. This is something I created when I worked in projects and infrastructure management, just to organize myself, because oh my God, are there a lot of freaking documents out there when it comes to capital projects. But this gives you an example, right, of like, so if I go into my preview so I can see what it looks like, of how this can serve as a document repository. So, you know, you can click on the DOE guidance documents, and say that, to your point, is that, you know, I pulled all of these over from the project management office website. And I mean, they look fairly clear to me, you know. So I don't know if you were encountering like just really fuzziness, but I haven't had that issue myself. But anyway,
not a lot. It's an org chart that NERSC org chart and PowerPoint, but then PDFs. So I'm getting feedback from some of our scientists that it's a little bit off. It's not off a lot. It really is not. But
well, that they can like suck it up. I'm sorry.
Well, but you can also you can also click it to open it up. I mean, that's kind of what I advise people, that if they're having trouble opening it or reading it, that they can click to open it.
Right.
That's I often add that to the
so
site
if you bring up this little if you hover over it, it'll bring that icon up. Yes. And it'll give you that option to open this up. So maybe, I mean, that's not a great workaround, but maybe that will suffice for right now. But just to go back to the kinds of things that you can add. So these were just documents. We've looked at some PDFs. Oh gosh, I hope this is still live. I didn't actually check it before. Andrea. So here are, let's hope it works. Oh, thank God. So this is a Google sheet I made a million years ago. But that's another thing. I missed whatever it was just said. Go ahead.
I just said that sheet is the best thing ever if you're having an event. This was the best, most helpful sheet.
Who said that? I couldn't see.
Oh, it's.
Uh-oh, you cut out. Well, thank you. I had no idea anyone would use this. That makes me so happy. You literally just made my day. So good, awesome. But that's an example, right? This is a Google sheet that will show, it's a checklist, right? It shows the stuff you need to get done to do it. So Google Sheet, really easy to integrate. I did it via hyperlinking the Google Sheet rather than having it populate on the page and taking up that real estate. But here, and again, this what you're seeing here is the layout that I chose for this, right? That's why I have the little PDF image here and then the text here. So, you know, you could go over here and I actually think I did, yeah. So for this one, for example, this is a Google Sheet right here. And of course it's not loading. It's just to be really helpful. There it is. So that was a Google Sheet, you know, I just clipped it to be the same size as the rest. But however you want people to view that is up to you. So I think that covers, that covers the sites that I've done for some of the work projects I've had. If we want to, it's 11:51. If we want to open up the floor to just talking, if I missed something or if you guys still have questions, I would love to hear from you.
Can you hear me, Andrea?
Yes. Who said that though? Why can't I see who's talking to me?
I don't know why it's not coming up, but this is Valerie Applebaum. Hi.
Like a reunion for me too. Sorry. You guys can tell I don't do a lot of socializing these days, right? Yes, girl. What's up?
Listen, I was the one who was saying that sheet, that the checklist is is the best.
Awesome.
This website that you just had up with it for the PIM reviews, is that actually on our intranet somewhere?
So, yeah, so, you know, this is a good point. You know, that's why your sites will outlive you, right? So I put this together for myself and for the folks with whom I was working at the time, but it's not the right site to go to anymore. Project Management Office actually updates the important project DOE project guidance that one must know in order to have a successful review. So no, this is not live anymore. I just pulled it up as an example of what you can do, like an application of Google Sites. So, all right.
Is the admin project website or coordination checklist something that you can share more broadly? There's
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and in fact, I think that the PMO office, I don't know if Pat Young's on the call, is she? No.
She was.
Oh gosh. Oh, she is. Pat, what's up? Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah,
well, maybe,
actually, I think it's on the staff intranet, your checklist, Andrea.
Okay.
And I will see if I can share that.
I'm so glad it's outlived me. That's like, I just feel so warm.
Maybe, Andrea, you could add you have some of your sites, maybe you could add this additional one, or, you know, just whatever sites you can share, just make sure they're in the document.
Yes,
for everyone on the call, I've added if you scroll back up in the chat, I did add the link to this document Andrea's sharing right now.
Fantastic. Yeah, so and I intend on sharing that all with you after the meeting. I'll be able to see who attended this, and I'll share it to the LBL admin and the LBL Google group. In fact, now that that Karen's reminded me, so yes, really quick, the sites I just showed you, they are here under resources, just the links for them. Again, please be careful when you use this one. The PMO website is the better source for this important information. This is only meant to show you what Google Sites can do. But with that being said, I want to make sure you know that you have some great resources available to you, including me. I don't know if I'm a great one, but I am one. Just email me. I love to talk about this stuff. So if you have more questions, please fill up my inbox. I'd love to hear from you. The Google Users Group, this is a group that a lot of you know about, that Karen and I frequent. You can join it here. This is just like everything having to do with Google tips and tricks, or questions that you may have. So I recommend folks joining that. You know, Google's updating its products a lot, and you may not catch that. I certainly don't. So this is a great group to join as well, if you want to stay abreast of all those changes or have any questions, you know, for like-minded folks. So that's my plug. Any more questions, folks on the call? I want to see your faces. There you are. Questions or something I did that you hated? You can critique me. I can handle it. I am a little hangry because I haven't eaten yet, but otherwise I can still handle it. Okay. All right, guys. Well, we've got 5 minutes. I'm fine with eating my food early. I will share the recording. I'll share the document that Karen was so kind to put in the link out as well. If anything occurs to you as you're going along your day, feel free to send me a note. I'd love to chat about it. I'll post the recording. I just need to sort of figure out how to do that too and where best to have it. But otherwise, thank you so much for joining me today for my first training session. I had a lot of fun. Hopefully you did too.
It was great. You're a great trainer.
Oh, bless you.
You are. You really are.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It was really great to see all of you. And I hope that you're staying safe and being well. And I'll go ahead and end the call unless anyone else wants to say anything else. Cool. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Andrea.
It's my pleasure. Good to talk to all of you. Take care. And thank you, Karen, Michelle, and Brooklyn.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Great job.
Thank you.